Hey guys, John Hackelman here for the Hack Stand, and I got a question for you liberals. Actually, I have two questions. They're kind of long questions, and they have subcategories of each question, but there's basically two questions, and they both involve gun control. We all know that liberals love gun control. I don't even understand why, because anyone with any common sense knows that states and cities with the most gun control have the most gun crimes and the most gun deaths. And there's a really simple reason for that for some strange reason liberals don't get. Okay, check this out. It's really hard to understand or believe this, because liberals like to think that the bad guys play by the same rules the good guys play by. So they think if there's gun control, and even if you hand in your guns, the bad guys are going to do it too. They're going to say, oh, there's gun control, we're criminals, and we're unethical, and we're immoral, and we're violent predators, but we got to turn in our guns, so let's go ahead and do that, guys. Okay, that's a liberal's world. That's what they actually think. Okay, let's go to reality now. Okay, when there's gun control, the only people that abide by it are the law-abiding citizens. Okay, so what you're doing basically is you're unarming the law-abiding citizens, and the criminals stay armed. Okay, I hope they understand that, but to be honest, I honestly don't think they get it. I think they think that when there's criminals are going to play by the same rules the good guys do, but they don't. Anyway, okay, so here's question number one. Say you're a liberal, you got a daughter. I want you to pretend you have a daughter, even if you don't. You're a liberal. She's 20 years old, going to college, and she works part-time to help pay for her tuition, and her car is parked usually about a quarter mile from her job, and she works till about 1 in the morning. She's a food server. She has to walk there. Do you feel that she should be able to defend herself if a couple of guys attack her to rape and murder her? Do you think that she should have the right to bear arms? Do you think she should have the right to protect herself? Or if you're a true liberal and you're going to stand up for what you believe, you don't think she should have the right to bear arms. So you actually think she should be beaten, raped, and murdered. Is that correct? Or am I far off on that one? If I am, let me know. But to me, that's what a liberal says. They say we should not have the right to defend ourselves from the bad guy. So whatever the fuck they want to do to us or our daughters, they should be able to. Because there's no reason. It's just because they're that stupid. Okay? Now, say you're a liberal, you don't have a daughter, you have a mother. She's 80 years old and she lives in an apartment. Someone breaks into her apartment in the middle of the night. They're going to rob and beat her to death. Do you think she has the right to bear arms and protect herself? Or do you think she just fucking deserves to die? Okay, that's the one question. There's one right there. So, do you think that your loved one or any woman, female, or even a guy that's being attacked by 5 guys with knives should have the right to defend himself? Or do you think he just deserves to die? Because he should not be carrying a weapon to protect himself. Okay. So there's one. Okay, number 2. we kind of touch on this one a little bit, but let me just ask you and try to get into some of your minds. Please answer, comment below on this one. If you're a liberal and you're for gun control, okay, check this out now. Are you stupid enough to think that gun control will affect the criminals in any way? Do you think they'll have a harder time to obtain a gun illegally, black market, whatever, if there's stricter gun control? Or do you think that only the law-abiding citizens will have much, much less access to guns, so it'll become even more disproportionate with the bad guy having the guns versus the good guy not, as it is now? Because like I said before, I hope you realize that the states and the cities with the strictest gun control, where you can't even get a gun, nobody can carry a gun legally, but there's the highest amount of gun violence and gun deaths in those states and cities. So, do you realize that the gun control doesn't work? Or are you one of these liberals, and I've heard this, well, I don't want everybody just walking around with a gun, it'll be like the Wild Wild West. Let me tell you this. It would be better if everyone carried a gun and it was like the Wild Wild West than if just the bad guys carried the gun and it would be like a fucking Hitler, Jew, Nazi, Holocaust massacre. Because it's better to have the Wild Wild West than just a one-sided massacre. Don't you agree? Anyway, answer those two questions for me below. And thanks for coming. Thanks for being part of the pit.